episode, I speak about the quiet heartbreak of grieving a friendship that hasn't ended, but has changed over the years. The kind where you still love them, you still cherish the memories, yet have to accept that they no longer show up in your life as you want them to. They are not as present, and you will hear me processing this grief and that heartbreak live on this today's episode. So without further ado, let's just go into it. So much to say, but let me just drop you in how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling pretty frustrated and my energy is not the best. So you wonder why I'm now recording a podcast. Let me tell you. I have been procrastinating this podcast for minimum 2 months. I have been on a hiatus for 7 months on my podcast. And now, in the midst of chaos, I just fill you in a moment. I was like, I'm done. I'm done procrastinating. It is so uncomfortable to get over that hurdle, which, I don't even know what it is. Maybe I'm just trying to be perfect here on this podcast, which always obviously defeats the whole purpose of this podcast, because it's more about being authentic. Anyway, so I have here a setup that's not ideal. I'm in my bedroom because I feel like the sound here is better. The echo isn't as much. I'm having a cup of coffee even though it's past 12, which I'm usually not drinking coffee. And my 2 fur balls are next to me and they make a lot of noises. So if you hear some snoring, if you hear some weird things, these are my dogs. Sometimes they sound like pigs. Literally like pigs, so just FYI. Okay, having that said, there's so much that I want to share with you, but there is obviously a topic today that I feel very much helps me because I'm so I'm now feeling so much better talking to you. But honestly, over an hour ago I started to attach a microphone to my iPhone, which it's an expensive microphone. It's really cool, and it does not connect to my iPhone. It does not connect to my MacBook, so it just doesn't connect. And I know it's worked because I have been recording podcasts with that microphone before. So it took me an hour, and then I used an older microphone, which, then doesn't, the adapter is not the same. They are keeping changing, like USB-C, USB-A, USB-C, Lightning, blah, blah, blah. I'm just so fed up. And now I'm unpacked my huge microphone, that I bought a couple of years ago, and this is working. And I tried without microphone, just recording into my phone, but the audio quality isn't just the same. And what I just don't like is bad quality. I don't want to have this perfect. As you can see, I'm all over the place. I'm grounding now myself into my space. So anyway, let's kick this off now together. And again, if you hear any weird noises, that are my dogs, and I'm like, should I kick them out of the room? But then I'm like, they give such good positive energy, even if they sometimes have to lick and scratch themselves and being absolutely noisy. Okay, I have been on a hiatus, as I told you. Been procrastinating this podcast for, I think in August I recorded a podcast and then I never published it. And here we go. Now it's I don't even know, 5th of November, so that's over 2 months, and there's so much I can share, and there is so much that I want to share. And today I want to talk about grieving a friendship. And I have been talking about friendships quite a lot on this podcast, but this is a bit of a different grief of friendship. It's not an end of a friendship. It's not a bump in the road of a friendship. It is, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like adult relationships or adult friendships are extremely difficult. And I was pondering on the difficulty of friendship. Is it a belief that I have? Is it reality? And then I was like, it's not a belief, it's the reality. And then I'm like, other people are complicated. Am I complicated? And of course, I am all about self-agency, like taking responsibility and say, okay, if I don't like something, I am the one who can change that. And then I'm like, I have so many good old friends. So it's not about the other people. It's about me not being able and not prioritizing putting in the effort. Because maintaining a new friendship or an older friendship that might have been like kind of, not that active, so we're not present in each other's lives as much, takes energy, and it takes definitely priority. And I have so much going on in my life in a good way that I'm like, no, I don't want to. Because I rather talk to you and have my podcast and build a community here with you than investing into a friendship. I know that sounds a bit weird, but that's just what right now is my truth. Okay, it's just what right now fits the best, and I'm also at the same time grieving a friendship that I would have loved to put my resources into. So that's kind of a dichotomy. On one hand, I don't want to put effort into and resources into a friendship. On the other hand, I'm grieving one where I would love to put all my energy into. So I didn't even know that I would go into this, but here we go. It's interesting because I have talking point, like I have a few bullet points that I want to go into that help me like keep track on this conversation without me digressing. On the other hand, this is absolutely freestyled, so I'm not scripting anything. I used to script my podcast, by the way, but I don't want to do this anymore because I want to just get better in just talking to you as my friend, even though we might not know each other personally that well, instead of just scripting things. So getting back to it, I have a friend for 30 years and someone I truly and deeply love. And the thing with her is that she is not really present. So I have so much love for that person, and but she's not very present. She isn't that kind of person who drops in every week or every month. She's not reaching out. Maybe she reaches out once a year, if at all. I don't know. We are in a group chat of other friends, so sometimes, in this group chat, there are some topics being discussed. But yeah, it's something that makes me actually really sad. And it makes me sad because it's one of the persons that we know each other so well. We know a lot about each other. And then there are not even breadcrumbs. And I'm not saying this in a blaming way. I'm not blaming her. Like, she's building her career. She has a child. She is active and present in absolute different chapters in her life. And on the other hand, I also know she's always kind of been this way. I lived with her for years together in an apartment too. And I know if it wasn't for living together, we might not even have had so much contact. And I still count her as one of my best friends because I met her really spontaneously in my hometown when I was in Austria in July. Like, I went grocery shopping with my husband and we ran into each other, and then we went to a coffee shop next to the supermarket, and I think we sat for an hour or two. And it's like, it's that person with whom you can love about everything. Not love, but laugh. It's like, she's very intellectual, she's very smart, she's very curious, so you can talk to her about anything and she knows something to say. And if she doesn't, she listens, she's asking questions. She is such a good person. I so love her. And at the same time, And now I'm saying this and comes up, spontaneously that I'm crying. I'm not planning to do this, obviously, but at the same time, that's it. And, I made a selfie with me, my husband and her. I sent it to her. I said, hey, it's so great checking in and seeing each other. And I would love to, stay in contact. And, and she's like, of course, yes, I love it. It was amazing. And that's it. I haven't heard from her. And that hurts. And it hurts. And then you might ask, okay, what is my thing? So over the years, I have done everything. I called her, I voice noted her, I texted her, and she replies back. Don't get me wrong, but not always. She might get back to your first message, but then she might not get back to the second. A couple of weeks ago, in a group chat with 2 other very good friends, they said, hey, she has a party because she just graduated from a very important degree, something that is very for important degree. And she also turned 40 last year, so there was a party for friends and family, a big thing. And I learned about that in the group chat. I wasn't invited, and I mean, I understand. I'm living a 9-hour flight away. I know she didn't invite me because she was maybe 120% certain I wouldn't come, and I wouldn't have been able to come just for that. And it stung a bit that I heard about that in the group chat, because they were discussing presents and what we can do for her. Because it's such a great accomplishment, celebration of her 40th birthday last year, and then her graduation this year, and all the good things, And then, I hear that just on the sideline, and I didn't even know at first, like in the beginning, what party, what celebration, But then I figured what it was throughout the conversation. So I participated in a present. We made a video for her, said amazing things. I edited the video, and I made sure that this video was a gift, a true gift. Like, I poured my heart and my soul into this video. I made it very emotional, and just made it all about her, how great she is and stuff, And I was like, it doesn't matter if she didn't invite me. I want to just take the me out of this invitation, and it's a fact. There was no invite. That's it. It's okay. I am old enough to just not get crazy about it. And anyway, so it was just I have a client who is friends with also my friend, and my client sent me a picture, and it was a selfie of her and my friend together, and that made me sad. I mean, first of all, happy to see that they were my client joined her celebration and was present there. At the same time, I'm like, I didn't even get an invite for this. It still somehow bothers me, I have to admit, even though I'm like, who cares? Who cares if I get an invite or not? It wasn't done. She didn't leave me out in a bad way. She just assumed I couldn't make it. But what I wished she would have dropped me a message saying, hey, there is a party going on. I might figure you kind of come. I just wanted to let you know, just in case you can make it, you would be invited, and your presence would have mean a lot for me. And I would not be able to change the situation. I wouldn't be able to come, but at the same time, I'm like, I felt like she thought about me, at least. I know I'm contradicting myself, like saying take the me out of this invitation thingy and just see it what it is, right? I'm oscillating, I'm kind of swinging from one side to the other. On one hand, fine that I wasn't invited. On the other hand, it hurts and it stinks. And I don't know if you can relate to this. I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm 10 years old, and when you grow up and you have friendship friendships that go well, some friendships don't go well, some friendships you lose, some friendships just fade away, and you're so confused about it. And I feel like I'm now at this age and I'm still so confused about it. But anyway, it's a unique friendship. I know her since so long. I know her since elementary school, and it's not a friendship that I just want to, throw into the basket. And I just acknowledge she doesn't mean ill or anything. It's just her way. And I know from another friend, I've discussed this a few years back, that that's how she is, right? She is not present in your life. She has a lot of things going on, and that's where her focus is. Yeah. But do I miss her? Big times. And yeah, I sat with the sadness and called it heartbreak. And it felt just so bittersweet and good at the same time, that I feel heartbroken by that. And that's okay. It's no one's fault. It's, it's just no one's fault. It's just how things go, right? And I feel heartbroken. I felt through the pain, through the sadness. And while sadness is still present, I understood that there's one thing that I can do. Or two things I can do. I can either accept her as she is and still love her while she's not present and while she isn't how I want her to be, or I just let it all go. And I chose to accept her. And that also means that I accept her and that I am simply not a priority, and that I might not be a priority ever. At the same time, I know if I call her and tell her I have an emergency, she'd be there. She is a loyal friend. And it's a little bit like, I feel like through this whole process, it's a little egoistic to want someone to be different to fit into your world. You know what I mean? I caught myself in that selfish thought that I wish she was different. And I wished her to be different to fit my purpose. Right? To come back into my life, to be present and to have exchanges forth and back. And that's just not how it goes. And I truly respect and accept her. At the same time, I'm holding my heart and my grief. But I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I don't want to end this relationship. I also don't, I contemplated telling her how I feel. And I know in past times, I told her that I miss her and that I want more contact, and she's like, yeah, let's do that. People don't really change unless they want to change, and that's okay. And this is just this tension between wishing things were different versus accepting the reality. And adult friendship is complicated. I always thought that it gets easier with age, but I feel like it's getting more difficult. And obviously for me, in my unique case, there's a distance, but then in general, it's also life priorities, right? I mean, lots of my friends have children, they have partners, and they just prioritize differently. And there's also just so much emotional bandwidth that we have left for other people. I don't know how it is for you, but I'm sure you have a job, you have either children, or you have a relationship, or you struggle with, I don't know, being single, or you want all those things and have other things to juggle. Yeah, maybe you're taking care of a parent, of somebody else, and there is just so much of emotional bandwidth. And I know that when one of my friends have an emergency, and it takes a day or two where I have to be really present to help them through it, to be there for them, it takes time away for other things, obviously. So, I mean, I can do that for a day or two, but I couldn't do that for a week or two. And yeah, it's keeping up a friendship does take time. And I think it's so important to really accept a person as they are and say, okay, I accept that they don't have time for me, and it's selfish to think that they should be different to cater to my needs, right? Because again, in my assessment, she's an amazing friend. She is really cool, she's funny, she's very loyal, she's here for me if I need her. Yet I'm not a priority, and she's not very present in my life, maybe not present at all. And yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm sitting back and I'm allowing myself to feel the grief. I don't want to like suppress things. I don't want to distract myself. I also don't want to project on her. I don't want to have all those judgmental thoughts of like, she should be different, or she's not a good friend, and you know, all those nasty things that I can kind of come up with, you know. I don't want to do this anymore. So rather I feel the grief, be present with myself, and it's such a sweet feeling to tend to your own heart. There's also so much strength and power that comes out of it, and it's totally cool that I still grieve, and I might just grieve that friendship for the rest of my life. And yeah, and I think it's important to hold heartbreak without judgment and wanting things to be different just so that it fits you. We all want that, but if I look into my life and what's going on here, I mean, I don't have children. She has a child, so obviously, you know, there is so much other priorities, and I fully see that. Yeah. So there's a bittersweet beauty of long-term friendships. I don't know, how do you deal with friendships? I'm super curious if you have such a similar situations. If I feel like if no one talks about it, like about friendships in general, I feel like I'm the only one that has a bit of a messy friendship circle. I have people that are very present in my life. I have people that are distant, like this friend I'm talking about. I have people on the back burner that I talk to once, twice a year, or send messages once or twice a year. I have like ended friendships in the past years. Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's funny, it's funky. And to finish the thought is like, I feel like I'm the only one who has that mess because no one talks about it. I feel like I have not heard anyone talking about how they navigate adult friendships. And I have a lot of grievances, and I'm working on this all and see it as they are. But again, there's a bittersweet beauty of long-term friendships. And these are friendships that I keep in my heart, accept that they are as they are, and not just like, okay, now I'll finish this friendship. Because, I mean, no, I want to have, like, there's certain friendships that are in and out of my life that I'm just so appreciative of. So, yeah. And I have a lot of gratitude for this moment right now, sharing this with you. And yeah, if you're grieving friendships, or if you have maybe right now difficulties with a friendship, I see you, I hear you. And yeah, love doesn't always look the way we want it, isn't it? Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's sporadic, and sometimes it's just enough to hold it in our hearts. And sorry, my coffee machine is just wrapping up. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening to this while I'm processing grief with you in real time and sipping my coffee. And I'll go back to being regular on my podcast. It was great to have you on this podcast. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week, I guess. Okay? Stay strong, stay brave, and have the courage to be